and everything. I just wanted to bring this in so you can drink it this weekend.
Yep.
So then next week you can talk about it.
Yeah, 100%, man. What's cool about this now is I'm doing my show on YouTube. So I built out this platform on top of the show so people can see it now.
On the radio,
I'm on the radio and I'm doing the YouTube. So everything that you hear here goes on YouTube at the same time, which is going to be great because we're doing a big push out from camp, and Raiders camp is going to be in Costa Mesa. So I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks in Costa Mesa, which is great to get the hell out of this weather. And we'll be broadcasting, and I'll have this whole setup, which will be live from Costa Mesa.
You flying or driving?
One of the trips, I'm going there 3 weeks in a row. One of them I'll end up driving, but the other two I'm flying.
Give you some to take with you.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that would be unbelievable. Absolutely. And of course, and I'm going to mute this mic.
So it's not even on the shelf anywhere.
Okay, it's called Mount Gay.
Mount Gay Navy Strength.
You won't believe this, everybody. You won't believe this. This is 150 proof?
15.
115.
114.5.
Which means you can do flaming shots with it.
Mount Gay Navy Strength.
Look at that. You'll see it on the front. It's on the front of the bottle. On the bottom. Your proof.
Yeah.
98 something.
Right.
Our family has spent over 3 decades
Navy Strength.
pursuing justice for the injured.
Hitting the market
It's a long family
starting next week.
that we proudly
Okay.
carry on.
It's not in any stores right now, so you can't get it right now. You're the first person to get this. Seriously.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
It's phenomenal.
Unbelievable. All right, to our YouTube audience, the games that we're going over today, top 10 games of all time, we're still in the honorable mention. Today we have the November 11th, 2002 Monday night game against Denver, the Rod Woodson interception game, which was massive. And then we have the Tim Brown 1,000 reception game against the Jets. So those are the two. So this is our summer summer series. So to come up with content throughout the, we did that. You heard that yesterday?
No, I'm saying
Oh, we did it
that's-
yesterday.
that's
We did it
gotta be one of
yesterday.
the top five.
We did it yesterday.
Bo versus Bosworth. I hated Bosworth, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever to watch him foul over Brian Bosworth. As a Seahawks fan, greatest game I've ever seen in regards to each other team. And he had a torn shoulder, and he didn't disclose it before he was drafted. And back then, they didn't do their due diligence when it comes to injuries.
Right. All right, Bobby, these are two honorable mentions today. Correct?
Those at 12:30 right out of the gate.
No, I want to get to 12:30. I want to lead with USA basketball and all that.
Whole first page.
Yep. Okay, buddy. Thank you. Thanks again. Listen in the car on 920 when you're out of here. Pull
I
out.
will, but I got things for you to
Yeah,
find out.
that's going to mean a lot to us.
We'll
You're the best. Good seeing you. Let's do this more often, will you?
please do.
You got
I'll
it.
get you your tagline.
Thank you, buddy. All right, Bobby. I'm trying to find these games, and we got them. We got to have a fun show today. Okay, so now I got it right here. November 11th. That's it.
And then
Good.
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 The third one on the list.
Yep.
is The third one.
Yep. All right, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. I went and saw Dark Star Orchestra last night, Bobby. They were pretty damn good.
Yeah, they are.
Grateful Dead on steroids. All right. Why do I have a blue light here?
It's time for JT the Brick.
Raiders defense is no joke. The offensive line is good. The Raiders defensive line is better. We all agree on that, right? That Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, those guys are train wreckers.
There's definitely a little tinkering going on. We'll see what sticks and put the best version of our defense out there at the beginning of the season, and hopefully it keeps improving.
But our freaking D-line is nasty. The D-line of the Raiders is nasty the way it used to be.
JT the Brick.
But this guy, Antonio Pierce, is going into L.A. like Russell Crowe in Gladiator going into Rome. Okay? This guy, Antonio Pierce, is going to be like the movie Gladiator, leading everyone into Los Angeles. And he ain't joking.
And now,
Don't worry about our quarterback, buddy. Worry about us.
here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, as we open it up today on a gorgeous day. Little overcast today. Haven't seen weather like this for a while. It's just been burning and scorching as we open up from Lotus Broadcasting. The studio today had my good buddy Tori in studio. We're brought to you by Remy Martin, Team Up for Excellence. For our friends who are on our YouTube feed, you got to get on our YouTube feed. I'm going to be pushing this until we get it up to speed. Really proud of this YouTube page. They came in here to show me a new product that has never been seen before. Remy Martin, our proud partner, has Mount Gay. Listen to this, Mount Gay Eclipse. And Bobby had a little bit of a taste. I had a tiny bit of a taste. This is Mount Gay Navy Strength rum, 115%. And it's about to enter the stores. Nobody has seen it. No one's heard about it. You're going to be hearing about it. And they brought us a bottle today. That's what's cool about being in radio. They bring you stuff. All the time they bring you stuff. Sometimes it's tickets to a concert, this or that. It's all legal. We all write it off. We all put it in. We let people know what we get. But this was nice. So if you're a rum drinker and you're a partner of our friends at Remy Martin, you know what I'm talking about. Mount Gay Barbados rum, Navy Strength. And Bobby and I asked Tori, what's Navy Strength? Well, it is what you think it is. You don't need that many of these to have one hell of a good time. Hope everyone's having a good time today. I got a lot to get to, and I appreciate you playing along this summer with our summer series, the top 10 Raider games of all time. We are not at the top 10. We are still in the honorable mention, and I got 2 to 3 games a day that we're going to do. I got 2 today. I got 2 tomorrow. Next week, we're off Monday. I'm going to be one of the MCs at the CCon Big Sports Gala Conference that's in town at Virgin. I'm going to be one of the MCs of that event, and then a little vacation on Thursday, Friday. So I got a short week next week as we count down to Costa Mesa. So I got to get these games in. I got to get these games in quickly. If you haven't been playing along, the only way this is going to work is that when I preview the games or talk about the games, you interact with me with the games. That hasn't been working out as well because I just think people fall asleep in the summer, even though we bring our A game. So the only grade that I would give you is, I want you to step up a little bit more because we're doing this for you. If you're a Raider fan and you're listening on any platform here, you're catching us on the Raider mobile app or LasVegasSportsNetwork.com. We got a brand new app. Hit me up via Twitter or X at JT the Brick, or call into the show at 702-365-9200. Here are the two games for today. The two games for today are the legendary Monday Night Football game, November 11th, 2002, against Denver, Monday Night Football, the Rod Woodson game. You remember what happened in that game. I'm going to dive into it here in a little bit on what the Raiders were able to do and how the Raiders were able to win that game. Everyone remembers this was the most recent Super Bowl team. Okay, 4-0, went to 4-4. The season was falling apart and slipping away, and this is an iconic game. Now, is it one of the top 10 games of all time? No, in my opinion, but it's close because it was an unbelievable great game. And as Bobby and I finally put together our top 10 list yesterday. So for all you geeks, Raider geeks, like, Raider 66, Raider Mort, all Chris and West Oakland, the guys and gals who can really dive in and understand the history. And there's hundreds more of yous, and we'd like to hear from you. But these games all matter. And when we try to say what's the greater game, what's a better game, Sea of Hands or Red Ride 88? That's open for debate. That's what we're doing. We're going to talk about it at the end. But I couldn't get to my top 10 list until yesterday. Bobby was clamoring, texting me, hey, dude, we got to put together imaging. We need our voiceover guy to go over this. I need your top 10. I'm like, I don't got my top 10. I don't know if I include Sugar Bear Hamilton and the Stabler win as Stabler saved the game because he got hit with a late hit. I don't know if I do the Steeler game that got the Raiders to the Super Bowl. I don't know if I do the Raiders opener against the Steelers. I'm texting Phil Villapiano. I'm talking to Fred Biletnikoff, the people who played. I'm doing my homework. I'm talking to people at the Raiders, historians. I got people around helping me with this, and everybody's going, good luck, dude. I don't know what to tell you. What's the difference between number 10 and number 4? They seem to be the same. The difference between number 14, an honorable mention, and number 8 are pretty close. But someone's got to put the list together. And Bobby and I have, with the help of a couple of anonymous sources here. And we're having a lot of fun with it. But it's going to be about you, Raider fans interacting. The phone number is 702-365-9200. And a quick reminder, I'm not the show that gives away koozies. There's nothing wrong with that. Give away all the koozies you want. I'm not the T-shirt show. Never been that guy. What I do for you, you do much more for me than I do for you. You listen, you support our partners and sponsors. You come to our events. I can never repay you what you've done for me and my family. But I think what I do for you is I try to give you something to think and talk about. And we'd like a little interaction from you as we get going. The second game I said we're going to do is the Tim Brown 1,000 reception game. I was there on the sidelines, and I remember that well. And we're going to tell you why that was an iconic game with Rich Gannon and what that game meant. Zach Crockett. Oh, my God, there's some good players in this game. And we put that into our honorable mention. And I remembered the game when Timmy got 1,000 receptions, but I didn't realize how important that game was and what it meant to the organization because, holy crap, 2002? That regular season was really good. I got 2 or 3 games, including the AFC Championship game with Metallica playing in the parking lot, beating Eddie George and Steve McNair and the Titans to get to the Super Bowl, and teasing ahead and hinting, will that be a top 10 game in Raider history? A lot of people think so. So that's where we want to go. So those are the 2 games, again, both in 2002, one game in November, well, really 3 weeks apart. Is 2 of our top games of all time. They're honorable mentions coming up. All right, couple of things today. I had a great breakfast today with Kurt Heelan. You hear him all the time on our show. He's our NBA insider. He comes on my show so often that when he's in town, I like to take him out to a meal and talk to him. We had breakfast today at Bagel Mania. Kind of a new hangout for me, man. Let's get our sponsors on that one. Bagel Mania, where they have an authentic bagel breakfast. So I did that this morning right next to the convention center. And I talked to him, and we spent an hour having breakfast talking about USA basketball last night. LeBron James, Bronny James. Barack Obama was there yesterday, the vice president of the United States. Kamala Harris was there with Steve Kerr. We don't talk politics on this show. I don't give a crap about your politics, nor do you about mine, but I do have enough respect for former presidents, current vice presidents, future presidents, that we take the high road on this show. And it was a big glitz and glamour day. As Las Vegas, everybody, has recently had the Caitlin Clark game, which they moved to T-Mobile because the crowds were too big. And the Aces are a big draw, but Caitlin Clark turned that game into steroids. And then we just had this game, USA basketball versus Canada. Let it be said now, and I've lived here a long time. Let it be said now, we are the sports and entertainment capital of the world, period. We are baking like potatoes at 119 or 18 degrees, and we're still hosting the biggest events in the world. The vice president's here. We have the former president, Barack Obama. We have NBA Summer League. We have the Aces going for a three-peat. We have LeBron James and the royalty that was there last night, from Patrick Ewing to all the great players that played on the former Dream Team. The best 4 or 5 female college basketball players ever. Cheryl Miller, Nancy Lieberman were in the building last night, and all the celebrities that were there. So this is not the time where people go, oh my God, it's 118, let's go to Vegas. People are coming to Vegas because we're now putting on events, even in our hottest time of the year. A lot of people around Christmas holidays, we have the rodeo. People say, why is the rodeo out there? The rodeo is a machine. It's a monster. We have that here, the Electric Daisy Carnival, EDC, the largest festival in the country for that type of festival. We have events here that draw, and last night really drew well. And pretty excited about that. I know we got some people on hold. I'll go quickly. I just want to mention some of the highlights. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. I don't have him top 5 of all time. I don't have him with Jordan and Jabbar and LeBron. And you could go Bird or Magic, but he's climbing. He's getting there. And this is a guy yesterday, there was a clip. He was the only guy who signed autographs. 117 degrees, and he signed autographs for the kids, and he's getting ready to play golf, and he's a big-time athlete, and Steph was in town last night putting on a show.
How about this? Canadians up 11-1.
So Steph can really play. We move on to LeBron. LeBron James is the biggest show in Vegas, like him or not. When LeBron's here, he moves the needle. LeBron will be part ownership of the NBA franchise that will be an expansion franchise in Las Vegas. So get used to that, everybody. You'll have Mark Davis, owner of the Raiders. You'll have LeBron James as owner of an NBA franchise, and he's still playing at a high level.
Monday, here's LeBron with his You saw that coming.
All right, so a couple of things I want to mention about this game before we get out to this is that here's the key. This is a different style of basketball. Okay, it's more physical. 2 people who were at the game last night, one texted me and one called me today and said, Jason Tatum is soft. I go, what do you mean? He goes, he's not physical. He's just not physical. You watch him play and you're like, he doesn't fit well with this team. I go, wait a second. I watched some of the game last. Jason Tatum's one of the best players in the world. He's on the world champs. He's like, he's not right for this team. What happens in this international tournament we call the Olympic Games is they play physical. They play 1980s NBA, rugby ball. They don't call fouls on the low post. If they foul you, it's play on. And the European men who have been playing together since they've been 14, 15, 16, and now they're 28, 30, 31, they are better with their chemistry and their just the chemistry of playing together since they've been in a war-torn country when they were a child, or playing just exclusively in Europe where they play a bigger brand of basketball. Not better, not as flashy. So the problem with us now going forward, we played Canada, the 2 seed, and there's a couple of other teams that are pretty good. We in America have turned into a jump shot fascinated franchise. We like jump shots. I'm good with jump shots if Steph is taking them. I'm good with jump shots if Clay's taking them. I'm not good with Joel Embiid taking a jump shot. I'm not good with Anthony Davis taking jump shots. And they love it. They're emboldened to do it. Their coaches tell them to do it. They warm up in the gym. You think they're warming up at the skyhook? No, they're taking threes. They all want to be Steph. Watch out. Two of my buddies and one who I had breakfast with today are telling me about the barbed wire fence waiting for them over in Paris for the Olympics. If they think it's going to be a cakewalk and Obama's going to walk in and, wow everybody, which he did, and hey, celebrity, let's take selfies. Watch out. You better be able to get some elbows. And these guys might get pissed because they're not going to play a lot. 4 or 5 minutes a game. You think LeBron's going to come off the court? You're going to take Steph Curry off the court? So I think this is a really big topic. I want to get into it as NBA Summer League is here. I was texting back with Mad Max Crosby. He's going to go with the Laker game, 4:30 on Friday night. That game Friday night, 4:30. It's like getting into a nightclub. With the way that they built this, the way they built NBA Summer League. If you want to go to the Laker game, it's like getting online for a concert in the 80s where it wraps around. This thing's a monster as Bronny and the Lakers are in town. All right, Chris in West Oakland. Let's start with him. He's a basketball coach. Before you get to the Raiders, Chris, I'm telling you, I'm not saying we're soft here in America, but you know the difference between European international basketball and their rules and here in America.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny. I was texting with my son Zach last night, and we both say the same thing. This team is by no means a lock to win it all. I mean, not to mention the European countries are so much better. First off, every European country's roster is just dotted with NBA players everywhere. It's not like 1992 where the only professionals or the only top flight players was the dream team. If this team doesn't get I won't say doesn't get its act together. They've only been practicing together for a couple of weeks. But Steve Kerr's got his hands full trying to figure these guys out. I mean, Anthony Edwards is already popping off about everybody knows I'm the best player. It needs to run through me. Dude, you're on a team with Steph Curry and LeBron James. Just shut up and do what you're told. Accomplish something before. I'm not doubting the kid's physical ability, but accomplish something before you start running your mouth. And one quick thing about Steph, you know what a diehard Warrior fan and Steph Curry fan I am, JT, but I'm with you. I don't have Steph in the top 5 yet. If he can squeeze another title somehow out of it, then maybe he's in the conversation. But right now, I got him in the 6, 7, 8 range. I don't have him over Bird. I don't have him over Magic. I don't have him over Kobe. I think he has to win at least one more, but the guy's definitely top 10. And as you saw yesterday, one of the greatest low-maintenance superstars around. How many guys are going to sign autographs in 115-degree heat, which, as you saw, he was the only one. So listen, let me get to my Raider games real quick, and I'll get out of here. As I've seen so far, again, this is a debate. It's not it's subjective, as we all know. I'm going more great games. So far, the theme seems to be coming from your guys' end. It's more individual performances, great performances. I was at the Tim Brown 1,000-reception game. Great moment, not a great game. The Rod Woodson game, the Monday night game in Denver, the Raiders were up 34-13 in the fourth quarter. Phenomenal day by Gannon. Great individual performances. Not a great game. So my last two individual honorable mentions, I'm going to go with this. The first one, it was probably Nate Stabler's last great comeback as a Raider. Monday night, I believe it was November, December, 1979. He had thrown a pick six to go down 35-14 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Tom Flores told Jim Plunkett to warm up and go in. Stabler said, no, give me another one. I'm not coming out. Well, 4 touchdowns and 28 points later, hitting Cliff Branch with a minute to go. The Raiders came back and won the game 42-35. Snake was gone to New Orleans a year ago. As I said, in a career just littered with great games and name games, that one kind of gets lost in the shuffle, and I kind of call it Stabler's last ride. The other honorable mention, I was going to go top 10, but I'm going to slot another game in. You'll see why we'll get deeper into this conversation. Thursday night, 2017. Kansas City against the Raiders. I believe the final was 37-30. I got to go back to 37-33. 4 untimed downs at the end. Derek Carr threw for 400-plus yards. Alex Smith had a great game for them. It went back and forth. The Raiders were inside the 10-yard line. They had a touchdown callback because of Michael Crabtree's offensive interference. They had 2 holding calls. There were literally 3 untimed downs before Derek Carr hit Michael Crabtree in the corner of the end zone, and they kicked the extra point. Again, 38-37, I believe, was the final score.
I was there.
I was there. The game started out pouring rain. It ended up being a great night. That to me is also a great game. If that game would have been a playoff game or had playoff ramifications, it would have been an NFL classic. It was just another great game in the Raiders Chiefs rivalry. rivalry. So I've got those two as my final honorable mentions. I won't get able to call tomorrow, but I'm looking forward to when we do a deep dive on these games next week. Have a great weekend. Oh, and I'm going to put this out there right now for you, JT. I don't want a koozie. I don't want a T-shirt. But if you guys are ever looking for somebody to be a guinea pig, I'll gladly taste any free bottle of booze you want to send my way. Thank you, brother. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, we got this Mount Gay Navy strength. We got this in studio. This is for a weekend when I know I don't have any shows the following day. Oh, and Bobby, I saw Dark Star Orchestra last night, the greatest. And they're not a cover band; they're their band, but they play Grateful Dead. They opened up, and everybody. What's interesting about the show is at the Brooklyn Bowl. So I got invited to go to the Brooklyn Bowl. For those out of market, go to the Brooklyn Bowl. And went with a couple of buddies last night and saw Dark Star Orchestra. They opened up. They play an actual Grateful Dead actual show. Yeah. So they open up with this exotic show, and everybody's standing around. All the Deadheads. What show is this? And they played 1969 Avalon Ballroom in New York City. The entire show in the first set. Cool. 2-hour set. Cool. So I did that and watched that, which was really cool, and had a good night there at the Brooklyn Bowl. I go to a lot of live music, man. When people are like, hey, this band's in town. So I was really happy. Last time I saw Dark Star was 2006, and I see them in 2024, and they were better. So that was great. Chris in West Oakland chiming in on a couple of other games. As Chris just proved there, we can go with 30 honorable mentions. We got to giddy up and get going here, everybody. So Bobby said we got about 5 more honorable mentions. So we're going to get 2 to 3 today, or maybe more. And then we're going to have tomorrow, we're going to try to do 2. And then I want to be able to do this show with the top games in Costa Mesa. So I want the last 5 or 6 to be in Costa Mesa, cool weather, outside, the field behind me, counting it down, and maybe throw a couple of the alumni on, hopefully, if they're going to be there. Garrett is in Vegas on 920. Garrett, thanks for checking in. What's happening?
Thank you, JT. Lived here 40 years. Don't gamble anymore. Gave that up maybe 20 years ago. But I found a lock, and you're going to have to explain this to me. I don't understand. The sports books don't make an odds and give away money. But I know for a fact we win more than 6.5 games. Our defense is better. We might have a 2 tight end set. Adams will be more open more. I put $50,000. We win more than 6.5 games, and that's a fact. But if you explain to me why, if you can go through the schedule and I come up with 9, 10, 11 wins. Thank you.
Yeah, look, thanks for the call. A lot of people are giving me, I get that a lot. What's the season total, win total, 6.5? I think it'll go off at 7, maybe. So say it's 6.5 or 7. The problem everybody has is the quarterback. The team, the fans, the gamblers, the guys and gals who set the line are really sharp. They know the schedule, strength of schedule. They believe that we're not going to sweep Denver forever. They believe that Harbaugh is going to be a difference. And they don't buy into the quarterback position, even though the Raiders have 2 good quarterbacks. I didn't say 2 great quarterbacks. I didn't say 2 elite quarterbacks. I said they got 2 good guys. Aiden O'Connell would be on any roster in this league. But a lot of the rosters, he'd be the backup because he's in his second year. He's a rookie last year. And he started a lot of games and was one of the main reasons why Antonio Pierce is the head coach, not the interim head coach who didn't come back. And then Gardner Minshew, I heard today people talking about it on their shows. This morning, Clay and Vinny had on a guest that was talking about the season, the over-under on who's going to start. I don't want to do that just now. I want to wait till camp. But I understand you might want to talk about that. And I think I want to see this year, I want to see a really physical, hard training camp. I'm only focused on week 1 and 2, everybody. I'm focused on the Harbaugh brothers. I'm not looking at Miami yet. I'm not looking at New Orleans, December 28th. I'm not looking at the bye week. I'm looking at the first 2 games where the difference in those first 2 games would be Zamir White on a 3rd and 2 in a 21-20 game when Bosa and Khalil Mack are stacking the line and Zamir White runs for a first down and we can run out the clock and get out of there with a win. No, you think on NFL Network they're talking about Zamir White? They don't even know who he is. They don't know who he is. And then we look at Christian Wilkins. If you've been watching Hard Knocks on HBO, the Giants, and their offseason, Christian Wilkins, Giants wanted him. We got him. Tom Telesco went and got him, which is a great move. Where would the Raiders be going into the season without Christian Wilkins? Oh, my God. Now Tyree Wilson looks like he's much bigger than Christian Wilkins. And Tyree Wilson, I'm starting to sense, I don't know it for sure, but is going to play on the inside, possibly more than on the outside. And then Malcolm Kuntz, I only hear great things about. And Max Crosby, who literally is in the building. I mean, I know that Max upgraded to a big house, a lot of money there, but it seems like Max lives at the facility when his beautiful child's taking a nap and he goes and gets it. I mean, Max gets like 4 workouts a day. An MMA workout, a boxing workout, weights with the Raiders. The guy's a beast. So why would people have the audacity to say the Raiders are only going to win 6.5 games, which means 7 or 6? So the over-under is either you think they're going to win 7 or more. Can you imagine being a Raider fan and saying, yeah, we can win over 6.5, but we're not going to win more than 7? I don't want those calls. I want fans who think they're going to win 10 or 11 games. And the reason why the Raiders might be able to do it is if they do the 2 tight end set, 12 personnel, with this freak, Zamir White, where something's going on with him with his workout. He looks ungodly sick. And then Tyree Wilson, who might be doing the same workout, and one of those 2 guys pop and have a borderline Pro Bowl year. No, you got to play like a Pro Bowler. Max is a Pro Bowler. Spillane played like a Pro Bowler. Colt Miller plays like a Pro Bowler. These guys got to become Pro Bowlers this year. So I'm excited because I know that the Raiders every year go through this garbage. Every year they go through this garbage. No one thinks they're good. I understand why. Don't you think I know? I live in Vegas. I see the odds every day. Most people don't believe the Raiders can win with 2 quarterbacks who couldn't start on most of the teams. That's it. And they have to prove them wrong. Whoever wins the quarterback battle is going to have a great year, man. As a last thing, Bobby, you got me on Netflix. That I'll share that with you in a second. My voiceover cameo on Netflix from last night. A lot of people were hitting me up on that and watched the Devonte Adams episode. I had a little voice cameo. Rich Eisen did. He was talking about it on his show coming in. The Raiders won that first game behind Jimmy Garoppolo, and then losing to Pittsburgh. I kind of forgot about the Pittsburgh game last year where Devonte had a monster game. And then Devonte went into L.A. against the Chargers and got hurt in that game, went to the locker room and came out and led the Raiders almost to a victory. Aiden threw the late interception, and the Raiders went to 1-2. And the season started sliding away. Season last year started sliding away early. 1-0 start to 1-2. And then people were doubting the coach, doubting the system, started doubting each other. That can't happen here. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think anybody's going to doubt Antonio Pierce's message and what Luke Getsy wants to do as we open up the show. Thanks to PTs, they fuel the monologue, 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. And again, thanks to my good buddy Tori coming in. Nice that he could drop off some Remy Martin gift items for us to give to our audience. And we appreciate that. And we have the Navy Strength, Mount Gay, Barbados Rum, 1703. Wow, this is going to be fun on a weekend. All right, we're going to jump into this first game.
$50 million a year. Or what,
November 11th.
Are you winning the big games?
No, you weren't.
You got to be that quarterback that can send your team forward.
Right. That's my biggest beef.
How's everyone doing in here? Everybody hit subscribe and like, please. I appreciate you hit the like button, subscribe like we like to do.
Money at players that you know in your heart probably aren't going to get it.
Everyone, Corey says we need a quarterback. So the only consistent great quarterback is Mahomes.
On Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
Herbert's on the path to be great. Herbert's better than Lawrence. Herbert could be great. His team struggled too.
Raising Cane's is the official Ice-T of Ice-T.
The pigeon covering the kickoff, I remember that. Yeah.
Ice-T knows where he'll be going to get his favorite drink. Hey, everybody, chill out this summer with Raisin Cane's.
We got a
Ice-T,
viewer from Brazil. Carlo, we got someone on from Brazil. Felipe Carvalho, if I got that right. Live from Brazil.
The same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way, with integrity, experience, and authenticity. We're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Hey everyone, it's Joey from Sky Diamonds in Town Square. Did you know we pay top dollar for Rolexes and natural diamonds? We are also a full-service repair center for all your jewelry. Come to our beautiful showroom and sell your diamonds and Rolexes in a comfortable luxury store located in Town Square.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Come to Finley Subaru of Las Vegas and get as low as 1.9% APR financing on select new 2024 Subaru Outback models. SubaruofLasVegas.com.
This is JT for Grimaldi's New York style coal-fired brick oven pizza that you crave. 4 locations here in the Valley: Summerlin in Boca Park, on the Strip at the Palazzo, Southwest Las Vegas on South Rainbow Boulevard, and Green Valley on Southeastern Avenue.
Like all Nevadans, you have big dreams.
All right.
When your big dreams turn into a disaster,
Our running back looks like
you
a
need the
beast.
dream
Yeah,
team.
I think
That's
this
the
is going to
Richard
be a
Harris
big
Law
deal
Firm.
because
Nobody should ruin your dreams.
a lot of people
and
saying,
nobody
could he
knows
be
Nevada
too
like
big?
we do. Call 444-44.
All right, Bobby, let's double check. We're on the same page,
Running a
November
business gets
11th,
more complicated
2022.
every year, so you need a trusted advisor in your corner, especially when it comes to your workers' comp program. Pro Group Management has been helping Nevada's self-insured businesses for over 20 years. Whether your business is retail, trucking, building, agriculture, or auto, our team has the expertise to make sure your coverage meets your needs and at a price that fits your budget. Our award-winning team keeps track of all the important regulatory issues that impact your business. We help with safety, compliance, and inspections, because that's what you should expect from a trusted business partner. Find out how to have Pro Group Management work for you. Visit our website at pgmnv.com to receive a free cost savings analysis now. That's pgmnv.com, or call our Las Vegas office at 702-740-4380. Pro Group
4 weeks from the Raiders'
Workers'
first
comp that
preseason
works for
game.
you.
I'm well aware of that.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner style
So we got
lager,
Burbank
delivering
and
a crisp,
Brazil,
refreshing taste. Brewed
Black
with
Hole
fighting spirits
Denver
since
chapter.
1925.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
I want whoever's going to look the best, when it's time, when it's live bullets. So at the end of the day, I don't have a preference other than the fact that I want somebody that's confident and ready to go when it's time to do it. So whoever that is, that's who I want throwing the ball. I think right now, if I had to say, I think Aiden has the job because, obviously he was here before and that's the way that it was. He was running with the ones more, and until Gardner comes in and, takes the job away from him, I think it's Aiden's job right now. And he doing what he got to do to hold on to it. We still got to keep working and, do what we got to do to grow and get better. We could definitely get better than where we are. He and I, our connection, him individually, even me. At this point in the year, this is not where you are going to show your best.
So that's Devonte. He did a media tour for receiver. He was on everywhere yesterday, which was nice, and promoting the Netflix documentary. JT, back with you. We're brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo. I had my bucket of Modelo. It's coming up on Friday. We love Modelo. We got a bunch of remotes coming up with Modelo. We're doing a lot with Modelo and the Black Hole. Whenever I can take our partnerships like Remy Martin and La Casa Cigars, Modelo and the Black Hole, we got something really cool going on here with our partnerships as they want to work together to enhance the product here on the flagship of the Silver and Black. So Devonte yesterday spoke a lot, and most of it's just about the documentary, but some of the better interviewers asked him the same question over and over. What about quarterback? The two big questions. Also, Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers, we have this soundbite as he's at the American Century Golf Tournament. All right, so he's up in Tahoe, at the American Century, and this guy's something. He knows what to say. A reporter asked him this question.
Do you think Luke Getsy's going to utilize Devonte Adams good in the new Raiders offense?
I love Luke Getsy. He's a fantastic coach.
Awesome.
I love Devonte. Can't wait to play with him.
Awesome.
Again.
Great. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
How's your game today? How you hitting them?
Good. Harrison's playing really well.
Is he?
He's a little shy, but just trying to get him out of his shell.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going good.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
So what was interesting there was that Aaron Rodgers knew exactly what he was saying when he says, I can't wait to play with Devonte again. Aaron Rodgers is only playing one more season. As of now, he had a 2-year deal. Last year, what happened? He didn't play. He ruptured his Achilles. He's coming back this year. He missed mandatory minicamp, missed it, and now he's golfing. He's golfing up in Tahoe, which I did my show 10 years up there. I wouldn't miss that for the world, too. It's a lot of fun. But it's hot, it's sticky, it's a tough golf tournament. He's up there with all the great golfers, and he's talking about Devonte. So that got a lot of run yesterday into today. All right, here we go. These are honorable mentions as we get ready, as we're trying to find the 10 best games, greatest games, most influential games in the history of the Silver and Black.
We now present the Raiders' top 10 games of all time.
And the Raiders have won the Super Bowl championship. They are the world champs.
The history of the Raiders.
He is going to get inside the 5 touchdown.
The games that helped make the Raiders one of the most recognized franchises in NFL history.
Just win, baby.
The Raiders' top 10 games of all time begins now. Honorable mention.
All right, let's go to November 11th, 2002. Raiders 30, Denver 17. The victory ended the 4-game streak, the losing streak, which I remember vividly, which was the end of the season. 4-0 start, the Raiders in their year going to the Super Bowl, and then the 4-game streak launched a 4-game win streak en route to the AFC title and the Super Bowl. The Raiders beat the Broncos in Denver in this game, 34-10 on Monday night. The Silver and Black opened the scoring with the Janikowski 47-yard field goal, 10-play, 31-yard drive to give the Raiders a 3-0 lead, lead that they would not relinquish on the evening. The Raiders upped the lead to, and this was big. This is one of the biggest plays of the entire year when Rod Woodson returned an interception, 98 yards for a score in the first quarter. It was Woodson's second interception return for a touchdown on that year. He also returned an interception, 82 yards on September 29th against Tennessee, and added to his NFL all-time record for interception return yards and scores on interceptions. Man, this guy's stats are incredible. Janikowski with the extra point, 10-0 lead. The Raiders went up 13-10 on Janikowski's 32-yarder, 8-play, 69-yard drive, quarter. The Raiders up 13-0. And this was just big because they were trying to pour it on here. The Broncos got on the scoreboard in the second quarter with a touchdown, but the Raiders answered going 80 yards in 8 plays as Gannon connected with Jerry Rice for a 6-yard touchdown. It was Rice's 200th career touchdown. 200th career touchdown came in a Raider uniform, and that surely he was already embedded as a future Hall of Famer at that time. Raiders up 27-10 at that point in time as Gannon hit Jerry Porter on a 22-yard touchdown in the final play of a 12-play, 96-yard drive. 12 plays, 96 yards. Can I get that from Aiden and Gardner Minshew? We got it from Gannon, one of the all-time Raider greats. The Raider defense provided constant pressure on Denver throughout the evening, with the Broncos getting a field goal to end the scoring on the day. The Raiders got another touchdown on Gannon to Rice that ended on a 7-play, 72-yard drive. Janikowski with another extra point. The key to this was the end of the losing streak. Raider fans of the modern era remember the importance of this game, because if the Raiders would have lost that game, it would have been 5 losses in a row with a team that ended up winning the AFC and going to the Super Bowl. This game was a playoff game. If they didn't win this game, the wheels were already coming off. The lug nuts were loose. The tires would have fallen off the car, and the bandwagon would have been done. This is one of the most important stop-the-bleeding games in the Raiders' last 20, 25 years, arguably so. That's why we put it in there as an honorable mention. If you want to call about this game, where were you watching it? remember what it meant. What do you think during the 4-game losing streak? What about this game in particular? We want to hear from some fans who remember this one. 702-365-9200. We begin with the pick six from the great Hall of Famer, Rod Woodson.
It's second down and goal as Gracie drops straight back, throws, picked off at the 2-yard line. Intercepted by Rod Woodson. And Woodson is into Bronco territory. And Rod Woodson can he be chased down by Smith? Not until he scores. Touchdown Raiders.
There is an example of a big player making a big-time play in a big game.
Al Michaels and John Madden on the call. John Madden, the Hall of Famer, saying about a future Hall of Famer, big-time players making big plays in big games. You got to say for Rod Woodson, this was his signature game, and he had 2 or 3 for the Raiders, but maybe this one meant the most as the great future Hall of Famer stepped up big in that game. You know, Rich Gannon in a brilliant season here, and again, a milestone finding Jerry Rice.
And when you have a guy who's 15 of 60, keep going to the well. Gannon will fade into the end zone, caught by Jerry Rice for the 200th touchdown of his career. What symmetry? 500 Mondays, 40 Mondays for him, 200 touchdowns for him, 250 straight games catching a pass.
Incredible. Al Michaels put a bow on that one and signified one of the great milestones of Jerry Rice's career, 200 touchdowns. This is on the road Monday night in Denver with John Madden in the booth. Big moment for Jerry Rice, and he had so many there. Jerry Porter involved with the 2-point conversion as the Raiders were shaking and baking.
2-point conversion. Gannon to the back of the end zone, caught, hauled in by Jerry Porter for the deuce.
One of the things you might want to talk about with Jerry Porter is, why don't we throw that out too, as we're trying to interact with you on this. Where do you stand with Jerry Porter, all time as a Raider? No one's ever brought that up on the history of this flagship. I can promise you that. That'd be the first time that that's ever been uttered. Where do you stand with Jerry Porter? I had a rocky relationship with Jerry in the beginning, and not to his fault or my fault, it just didn't get off to a great start. And I got a lot of respect for him and all these alumni events I see him at. And, you know, Fred Biletnikoff coached him, and he was there with Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. Imagine the pressure on him. Jerry Porter was a hell of a Raider. He made a lot of plays. He made a lot of plays. I'd like to know from you what you remember about Jerry Porter playing in the shadow. And he played in the shadow of Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. And did it help him or hurt him long term? 702-365-9200. More from Jerry Porter on this touchdown from Rich Gannon.
Right now, Rich Gannon is just having his way with this Denver Bronco defense.
And they can't stop him. 2nd and 8. Over the middle, caught Jerry Porter for the touchdown.
Look at Rich Gannon. He just walks off the field like that's what you're supposed to do.
And the crowd and Shanahan are shell-shocked right now.
Jerry Porter is the inside receiver right here. He's the slot. And you see it's against the zone. He just runs right through the zone, and they gets it over the linebacker, who was a cover 2, and in front of the safety.
I love the fact that the game was in Denver, and you could hear so many Raider fans cheering over the backdrop of Monday Night Football. Anybody getting this? Anybody getting the importance of this game? I've given you Rice. I've given you Gannon. I've given you Porter. Giving you Janikowski. Giving you the great Tim Brown. We're giving you the unbelievable performance of Rod Woodson in this game. So after the Porter touchdown, what I think was the icing on the cake, especially to those Donkey fans, Gannon goes to Rice again.
Gannon, like Rice, looks like he can go on forever. Doesn't he ever? Touchdown, Gannon to Rice.
That is amazing. You know, they go and they dink and they dunk and they throw the short, and then you think they're not going to go deep. You think Jerry Rice can't go deep anymore, and then boom, they hit you with the deep one.
Oh, this is so good, man. Bobby, great job getting this Madden sound. This is Madden in his prime with Michaels. This is Madden with his former team on the field, and Madden used the term dink and dunk. So part of the madness of putting this project summer series together for you is one of the things I'm trying to do is relate that game and this team to the team that we're going to see this year, going into Costa Mesa, coming back here to Las Vegas and entering the season against the Harbaugh brothers. The similarities to me are very interesting with Gardner Minshew and Rich Gannon. I'm not telling you that I want Minshew over Aiden O'Connell, but I'm telling you that so much of Gannon at that stage reminds me of Gardner Minshew. And Minshew, when Gannon was starting to come to the Raiders, and instantly I was there for it. I watched it. I saw what Gruden was doing with Gannon. I saw how Gannon was talking to Gruden. I saw the way they worked together with Bill Callahan, how much control that Gannon had over the team. Rich has told me frequently that he had to take control of this team. He had to, because the year before, there were players on this team that didn't deserve to be there. And Rich was part of the cleaning house project to make sure that they could make good decisions and get players who wanted to win. This was a massive game in 2002, because if the Raiders lost this game, I truly believe they don't go to the Super Bowl, they don't win the AFC Championship game, and this is an epic failure as one of the great teams ever assembled by Al Davis, late in Al Davis's life, trying to get back to the Super Bowl again and again. He went out there and got veterans like Rice and Woodson, and they didn't let him down. So how about these guys now? Don't let anybody down. These guys now with Gardner Minshew, as I want to finish my thought compared to Gannon, he can dink and dunk. He can dink and dunk and take you down the field and then throw a fade route to the corner. Aiden O'Connell, I don't know how good of a dink and dunker he's going to be. But as I've proven, I've been telling you since we saw the signing of Brock Bowers. Bowers is different. Bowers could be the guy that can catch the ball at the line of scrimmage on a dink and dunk and arguably be better than anyone to ever play the game out of college. He's the greatest of all time to ever come out of college at the tight end position. So how long is it going to take to get him going? I go back to November 11th, 2002 versus Denver on Monday Night Football. We put it in as an honorable mention. Of course, this wasn't going to be one of the top 10 games of all time. Chris in West Oakland led off by saying that. It was kind of a blowout, but the importance of the game, and it was a great game because the team got on the plane in Denver and returned to Oakland with life. They had life to believe that they can win a game like that and go on a run to the Super Bowl, and they were able to do that. So I really enjoyed this game. When this game came up on our list, I said, I remember it. I remember it vividly, and I just remember Rod Woodson going the length of the field and how beautiful that was. I want to recap this game. I can only recap it for so long before I run out of breath. Let's get some fans in here who went to that game, remember the influence of that game. And I mentioned Jerry Porter and Jerry Rice getting his 200th touchdown. What did you all think back in the day of Porter, Rice, and Brown? Did you like that fit? Did you think there was some politicking going on? What did you think of that run of Raider history behind Rich Gannon? 702-365-9200 as we continue with the greatest games ever been played. Hey, we're brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino. I tweeted out earlier, man, they got a lot of events going on. If you go to my Twitter at JT the Brick, you'll see what I'm talking about. Man, buy tickets now, August 2nd. Damian Marley and Stephen Marley are playing over there at the M Pool. God, that's a big-time show, summertime show. Go buy tickets now at M Resort.
Here's what you missed on Unnecessary Roughness.
John McClain is with us.
For the 42nd year,
How long's the next segment?
Texas, our annual softball game, and Q.
Yeah, let's lead off with Tim Brown at the top of the hour.
Home run under pressure, and it was the longest home run trot I've ever seen. And somebody said, "Hey, man, is he showboating?" I said, "No, he's tired."
Unnecessary Roughness. With
You
your
like
boy
that
Q,
game,
good
everybody,
days
on
at
YouTube?
2
I thought that
on
was a pretty good game to put in here in our honorable mention.
Subs fan favorite, ham, salami, and provolone subs are priced to delight for a limited time. Small subs are $6, medium subs $8, and large subs are just $10. Now that's a deal you can sink your teeth into. Visit Portasubs today or order at portasubs.com or on our app.
This is JT for the Black Hole, home of football's most notorious fans. If you're a diehard Raider fan, this is your home. Become a member today and receive 20% off online purchases, hotel discounts.
Game unlocked the offense. Yeah, you're right. It did.
Merchandise and much more. All memberships are now lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black, visit theblackhole.com today. That's theblackhole.com.
Zerables is offering a gas discount of, check this, 40 cents per gallon with the purchase of a car wash at over 8 locations.
Yeah, we'll probably do the Patriot game on the back end.
Okay. That's fine. Also.
Yeah.
That way you can fill up and keep shining. Offer valid at participating locations. Visit Terribles.com to find a location near you. Terribles. Deliberately different since 1959.
Backing down has never been an option for our family.
I want to play that Waller.
Communism in Cuba before
Waller?
Announcing his retirement.
Yeah, but I got to throw to that. People aren't going to know that. I'll throw to that.
I'll play that Kelsey and Killscott talking about the Super Bowl sweep.
Treat clients like family. We bring the very best legal team to fight for you.
No. Better idea. How about that Deion Sanders talking about that?
Check out their toughest cowboy competition every Thursday with $200 up for grabs.
All right.
Where parking is free. Visit Treasure Island and experience the best value on the strip.
This Lotus Cares message is brought to you by Lerner & Rowe Personal Injury Law Firm. It's time to start thinking about back to school with community.
Yeah, Bobby.
Fill the bus drive. Join us at 215 in Rainbow, July 18th from 6 to 3.
I just got a text and a call from a friend to go to Dead & Company tonight. Wow. I'll tell you, that Dark Star probably sounds better than Dead & Company. I'm dead serious. I mean, that band is tight. That band was freaking tight.
This is an EAS. That's why you don't hear
Okay.
nothing. Just take my word. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Finley Nissan is celebrating our first responders and nurses on Thursday, July 11th. Be a hero and come by the dealership early to donate blood from 10 to 2. Then later that afternoon at 5:30, meet VGK's newest player, Brendan Brisson, and get an autograph. Plus, you can score free tickets to Battle for Vegas. Take advantage of special deals on new Nissans and enjoy free food from Raising Cane's, Porta Subs, Crumble Cookies, and Buffalo Wild Wings. Don't miss First Responders Day on Thursday, July 11th at Finley Nissan Henderson in the Valley Auto Mall. This is JT for Grimaldi's Pizzeria.
All right, this is a short segment. Then we're going to try to knock out 2 games next hour. So we knocked this one out, Bobby. All right.
That's what up is 2 round thousand.
Attention plumbers, HVAC, DIYers,
Yep.
and construction pros. McFadden Industrial Hardware has everything you need.
The third one's pretty good. Kirk Dowdy does the play-by-play.
Okay.
The third game, the 2067. Here we go.
Welcome back to JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by Commissario.
The official tequila of the JT the Brick Show.
Oh, shoot, that's a legend, man. Like, shoot, he's one of the few in the game that from the opposing team, you just wanted to go shake his hand. You wanted to get up close to see his drip. Al was fly. Like, Al was one of a kind. He was a straight shooter. He was awesome. He was, before his time, innovator. He was that dude, man. So I always wanted, I mean, I think every player who played in the league at that point in time wanted to be a Raider in some form or fashion. And I did. And that was close.
That's big time. That made a lot of news there yesterday. How about that? That was on the Raiders Twitter feed. Deion Sanders talking about Al Davis. JT, back with you. Tequila Commissario, the Ferrari of tequilas. Ask for it everywhere, and you'll see it. The smooth taste, the reserve is the best tequila I've ever even put my nose to and tasted. It's unreal. The agave, the Blanco, whenever you ask for tequila, Tequila Commissario. We thank our proud partners at Tequila Commissario for everything they do for us. As we're looking back at the season of 2002. That was the regular season leading up to the Super Bowl. And we just gave you a game. That was really important because I think if the Raiders would have lost that game, I don't think the Raiders went on to be 11-5 that year, first place in the AFC West, ended up losing in the Super Bowl. But if they would have lost after a 4-0 start, if they would have lost 5 in a row, that 4-4 game going into Monday Night Football was huge because I don't think they recover from that. I really don't. They might have, obviously, because they won the division. They won 11 games. They could have won 10 and maybe have done the same thing, but I doubt it. I don't think you can look at a team losing 5 in a row with that many players there. And the depth of that team was really good with a lot of veterans who put them in a good position. So if you got a comment on that game, 702-365-9200. We're going to get to the Tim Brown game at the top of the hour. Bobby reminded me that we have the Darren Waller retirement. I can't believe this. I'm really upset about this. I like Darren. I think the world of him, and now he's getting away from football.
I don't know if I really feel like if I would have died that I would have felt great about how my life was going if I died at the time. I'm doing something that I found a lot of joy in and have had amazing moments with, but the passion has slowly been fading. I've made the decision that I'll be retiring from the NFL. There's eternally grateful for the game of football. I wouldn't be able to have this conversation or to think things through or be self-reflective if it wasn't for an opportunity to save my life and go to rehab, which the NFL offered me. Also gave me an opportunity to, reestablish myself, to, come back into the world and do something productive, provide an example, be a leader, be a difference maker, in my craft, but also just in the day-to-day wherever I go. I mean, all the teams I played for, Baltimore taking a chance on me with all the red flags I even had coming out of college with, and can't say enough about the Raiders, Oakland, and Las Vegas. Thank you to the Giants. Grateful for all the guys there, all the coaches there. I love y'all. Appreciate you.
All right, I'm having a difficult time with that one because I just disagree with him, but it's not my life, it's his life. And when when you think of him as a recovering addict, that's more important in football. That's much more important in football. But he's a football player. He's not a rapper. I mean, he's entertained by his music. He just went through a divorce. A lot of people go through divorce. I know the good side of Darren Waller. There's so much more good with Darren Waller. But I also know that he's a football player. And if I can't sit here behind a microphone and say that I think it's a mistake that an athlete like that, if he had a degenerate hip, and look, he had injuries, no doubt about it. And he had an issue there, a breathing issue where he thought he was going to die. I don't know what that's like. But I just think that Darren Waller is going to regret this. I think that Darren Waller, he's a captain. He was a captain of the New York Giants. And even though he was a great Raider, he was a great Raider. Being named a captain to the New York Giants is a big deal. Yeah. Sam Huff, Lawrence Taylor. You go back to the legends. Eli Manning, who won multiple Super Bowls. And Waller was voted a captain. And now look at the team. They don't have the player with the skill set of Saquon Barkley and Darren Waller. So as I'm watching Hard Knocks on HBO, they haven't gotten to the Waller part yet. I just feel, I don't know what the word is, and I get paid to know my words. I don't know what the word is. I'm disappointed. I'm sad for Darren Waller. I really am disappointed that he's not playing football at his young age. I really think he had a couple of good years left. And load management, he's the type of guy maybe you load manage or you don't play him every practice, whatever. But I just thought I was going to watch him play a lot of football, or at least a couple of years of high-end football like we saw here in Las Vegas. Really disappointed, but I wish him nothing but the best. 1 hour down, one more to go. When we come back, we get to Tim Brown's game of the 2002 season as we count down to the greatest Raider games of all time this summer. All right, everybody, I'll be back in a second. I need a quick break. Be right back. Fabian, good to see you here. Best wishes to Waller. I'm going to stay with that and then kind of get some information on this Tim Brown game.
At 702-303-0333.
Gambler's bonus hits again. On May 24th, John hit 4 sixes, clearing his Gambler's bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for almost $15,000. John hit big and so can you with Gambler's bonus. It's why you play the game.
Get ready to rev up your summer at PT's Taverns. Swing by this July for your chance to win big with our ultimate giveaway, a Can-Am Maverick X3 DS Turbo side-by-side. Earn your shot at adventure with every 50 base points when you play with your True Rewards card. Plus, join us for Vegas's best happy hour with 50% off drinks from 5 to 7 p.m. and 12 to 2 a.m. daily. Visit ptstaverns.com to find the PT's Tavern nearest you. Don't miss out on your newest adventure.
Tequila Comisario was developed in the relentless pursuit of perfection with a deep passion for agave. It's the most awarded tequila. You'll immediately notice its beautiful packaging, and after just one sip, you'll experience how smooth it is. It's the Ferrari of tequila, the single highest quality. 100% all-natural handcrafted Comisario tequilas, Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Tequila Comisario, a proud partner of the J to the Break Show.
Finley Volvo invites you to discover the first pure electric SUV from Volvo, the XC40 Recharge. Volvo's first battery electric SUV is fully connected, featuring the first infotainment system designed and built by Google and powered by Android.
Hey Google, turn up the heat.
With Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store built in, along with legendary Volvo safety, it's the SUV you've been waiting for. Learn more about the XC40 Recharge at finleyvolvo.com.
Collectors, Front Row Card Show is back at the Rio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas on July 13th and 14th. Biggest show ever! Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. SGC, Beckett, and CBCS will be there. So bring your cards and comics to sell, trade, or get graded. 450 vendors, including gold and silver pawn shop from TV's Pawn Stars. Thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it. Front Row Card Show, Saturday and Sunday, July 13th and 14th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com. That's frontrowcardshow.com.
This is JT for Grimaldi's New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza. 4 locations in the Valley, Summerlin in Boca Park, on the Strip at the Palazzo, Southwest Las Vegas on Rainbow, and in Green Valley on Eastern Avenue. Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had.
Patty Davidson here from BetMoneyHoney.com. Would you like to become an educated sports fan that also knows how to place a bet? How about a library of how games are played, how to make bets, and hot picks of the day? Join me at BetMoneyHoney.com.
It's back. NBA 2K Summer League right here in Las Vegas, July 12th through the 22nd at the Thomas & Mack and Cox Pavilion. 76 games of action featuring all 30 NBA teams. You can see the stars tomorrow. Take center stage and electrify the best fans in the NBA right here in Vegas. Adults $45, kids $35. Reserve, VIP, and experience packages available. Tickets are on sale right now at NBAevents.com, UNLVtickets.com, Thomas & Mack box office, or call 702-739-FANS. Ticket fees apply.
Every now and then life happens, and you or a family member need an outstanding criminal attorney. I'm Tony Abitangelo, and we are the Vegas Lawyers. Whether you need representation for DUI, domestic violence, record sealing, or any other criminal charge, we are here to help. The Vegas Lawyers' background of former judges and vast experience with the Nevada criminal system gives you skilled representation.
The Vegas Lawyers, a division of Paul Pata Law, where compassion and strong legal representation come together. Go to thevegaslawyers.com.
Raiders football is back at Allegiant Stadium August 17th
All right.
for preseason action versus Dallas.
You know what? Again, we have a small crowd today. It's summertime. People are out of town. But I think we're doing a great show here. I just need some people to get behind these games and help me tell the story of these games. I can only tell the story for so long.
It's time for JT the Brick.
Make me a shirt that says
So we'll have to
Denver
reset,
Broncos
rejoin
have
again,
never
and get
beat
into
the
the Tim
Las
Brown
Vegas
game.
Raiders. We're 8-0 against them. We've been blowing out the Donkeys 8 in a row. I repeat, 8 in a row, 4 seasons of firing their coaches. They got fired, Nathaniel Hackett, because they lost to the Raiders. By the way, that's true. They can't handle losing to the Raiders. You can't beat the Raiders, you're fired. And that goes for you, Sean Payton.
JT the Brick.
I'll say this now, and you can clip it and put it on another show. The Las Vegas Raiders need to win 3 out of 4 games combined against the Chargers and Denver. Does that make sense? The second best roster is the Raiders. By a long shot over Denver. I'm fighting off the Donkey fans that think they have the greatest coach. Sean Payton sat on that couch for a year. Must have had 1 lunch and 2 dinners, and now everybody in the Fox lot's a fan of Sean Payton. The Denver Broncos have never beat the Las Vegas Raiders. By the way, that's true.
And now,
Then that goes for you, Sean Payton.
here's JT the Brick.
We're back. Hour number 2 of the show brought to you by Boyd Gaming. Locals, local. Mr. Boyd and all his proud properties here, proud partner of the show. When you head into a Boyd Gaming property, you'll see Raider imaging all over the property because they are proud partners with the Silver and Black. I'm excited. I'm heading to Costa Mesa. We're going to be there. I do that Monday night show every night, Monday night at Wynn, Vegas. So I got to be back every Monday. But I'm going to be in Costa Mesa from Tuesday through Saturdays for 2 weeks and then another half a week in August before we head out to Minneapolis. Well, I'll be on the broadcast doing the play-by-play on radio as Jason Horowitz goes to TV in the preseason, which is fantastic. Jason's great on radio and TV, and I get a chance to do play-by-play with Eric Allen and Lincoln Kennedy. So I got to see these numbers, man. I got to get out and see these plays, unless every play I call is going to be to Brock Bowers. You know, Bobby, I will call the first ever radio call of a Brock Bowers touchdown, I hope, in the preseason, or a catch, just like I called the first ever XFL touchdown with He Hate Me. Remember that back in the day? That was a milestone there. So I'm excited about that. The schedule is very interesting because the Raiders are going to have 2 open practices at Allegiant Stadium, and that was announced. So if you're a season ticket holder, please, fill out that request. If you got it in your email, look for that again and try to get out there. I'll be involved with that. We're going to be doing a lot on the field. Excited. So very excited. And then we're going to see what happens out in Costa Mesa, because our show, which is noon to 2 Pacific time, 3 to 5 Eastern, practice ends right at noon. So when I start the show, we should be able to get coaches and players and at least get some of the sound from the podium and all that. And then at 2 o'clock, Bobby, I'll have my golf clubs or do a little studying, a little homework with EA, and then head down to Newport Beach or to Balboa Island and cool off. Today isn't as bad. I was up early today as we've been talking about this weather here, and today it's only 1:14. But here's the key: as I came out of breakfast this morning, I looked up over the convention center. I was down in that part of town, and it was weird. It looked like, kind of looked like monsoony weather out here. So I thought, man, it's only going to be 1:14 today. That's not bad. Oh no! It's going to get warmer. 117 will be the high at 3 p.m. today. So stay hydrated. And Bobby, you've been doing pretty good with this. I mean, you're here a lot. You live in this building here. You like to step outside for a dart every once in a while. How hot is it for you? Who's been out? You've been in Vegas as long as me, right?
About a year longer, 95.
95. Where would you compare this heat?
It's rough.
Yeah,
If you're not used to it and you're not prepared, if you're not hydrated, it's going to be rough. But I got to tell you, I was out walking the dog at 6:30 this morning. It was cloudy.
Yeah,
it was nice. Wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, well, it's good. We want everybody and their pets to live the best life they can with all this. So hour number 1 of the show, I got shut out. I didn't get one phone call on the Denver game. Not one. I thought that would be a good topic today. I thought it was. I know it was. But again, I think people are either on vacation, sleeping, or you want to talk about the backup corner for the Running Rebel football team, and you want to talk about Raiders on Raiders Radio. I went back to the archives, and we picked up a game that I thought was really important, 2002, and the Denver game where the Raiders had a win. They lost 4 in a row, and they were going into the AFC West opponent, and they won. And if they didn't win that game, I don't think that they go on to the Super Bowl, and that's another AFC championship. And for me, I take that personally. I mean that because I got an AFC championship ring, which is nicer than the Buccaneers Super Bowl ring. Fact, not fiction. Cost thousands of dollars more because Mr. Davis was much more generous than Mr. Glazer with his jewelry. And that could have been a Super Bowl ring for me. And I had my name on it on the side, JT, and had voted on to get a ring, worked my tail off that year, and it could have been a Super Bowl ring. So I know 2002 because I was right there on the door of being a broadcaster, one of the broadcasters on a Super Bowl team, and they came up short. But as we look back at that season, there were multiple games that get into the honorable mention, and we got another one here.
We now present the Raiders' top 10 games of all time.
And the Raiders have won the Super Bowl championship. They are the world champs.
The history of the Raiders.
He is going to get inside the bar. Touchdown.
The games that helped make the Raiders one of the most recognized franchises in NFL history.
Just win, baby.
The Raiders' top 10 games of all time begins now. Honorable mention.
All right, so we go to December 2nd, 2002, only 3 weeks after the Monday Night Football game with Al Michaels and John Madden on the call. Tim Brown gets his 1,000th career reception in a 26-20 win against the Jets at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. The Raiders beating the Jets also on Monday Night Football. The crowd was 62,257. The Raiders took the lead on the first possession, 23-yarder from Sebastian Janikowski. Another field goal gave the Raiders a 6-0 lead. Midway through the second quarter, New York rallied to take a 7-6 lead late in the half there on a 6-yard touchdown pass from Chad Pennington to Gerald Soule. Following a Shane Leckler punt, the Jets moved 11 yards to the Oakland 17. John Hall kicked a 36-yard field goal, and that pushed the Jets' lead to 10-6 there after the half. Now, this game was a close game, and everyone was on the edge because of Tim Brown and what was going to happen in this game. Everyone knew in the entire city of Oakland that a milestone was in play. The Raiders took the opening kick of the second half, mounted a 7-play, 76-yard drive, capped off by a 26-yard touchdown from Rich Gannon to who? Jerry Rice. On the previous play, Tim caught the 1,000 pass of his career, a 6-yard completion from Rich Gannon. Brown caught 1,000 on a 6-yard curl route across the middle of the field with 11:22 left in the third quarter. They had a mini ceremony. Dead serious. I've never seen it before. They literally had a ceremony there. A mini ceremony took place on the field, complete with a golf cart carrying Brown's wife, children, and even his mother. Mom hadn't seen the 36-year-old Timmy play in person since junior high. How about that nugget? Tim Brown catches his 1,000th ball, and his mom hasn't seen him play since junior high. That includes Notre Dame. The drive gave the Raiders a 13-10 lead they would never relinquish. They increased their lead to 20-10 late in the third quarter. Zach Crockett on a 1-yard touchdown. And then the rest was pretty much history in this game. A fumble off a punt by the Jets. Janikowski followed with a 36-yard kick, his third of the game, to give the Raiders a 23-13 lead midway through the fourth quarter. The Jets had a nice rally late in the game. Chad Pennington can play. He had Wayne Corbett for a 13-yard touchdown, but Janikowski's field goal gave the Raiders the final margin of victory. Once again, Rod Woodson intercepted a pass on the game's final play to seal the victory. The Raiders, 8-4, became the first team in NFL history to ride a 4-game roller coaster every which way, winning 4 in a row, losing 4 in a row, then rebounding to win 4 games after that. With the win, the Raiders lifted themselves into a tie with the San Diego Chargers for first place in the AFC West. Again, this was the season on the brink. I like to call it. It was a roller coaster. It went upside down in this game. We call it the Tim Brown game. Some of the highlights back in the day, I really think you're going to enjoy these. Here's Timmy on catch number 1,000.
That was a 1-yard loss, so it is a sack for Abraham. Third Jet sack tonight. And over the middle, and that's Tim Brown who makes the catch, and that's 1,000 catches for Tim Brown. And they will stop the game to acknowledge a tremendous milestone.
That was a great milestone. When Tim Brown retired from the NFL, he was third on all-time receptions, and they made him wait for the Hall of Fame. I was disgusted by that. I don't think Timmy was happy about it also, that Tim Brown had to get parked on the sideline of Canton and not be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's great to go back to this season. We're hearing these Monday night calls with John Madden and Al Michaels in the booth. Another Gannon to Jerry Rice.
They've caught 1,000 passes, and 2 of them are there right now. A third down and 10. We're going to go to one of those guys. Yes, he will, to Jerry Rice for a touchdown.
Here's Jerry Rice, and you see him starting in the end. He's going to run an in right there. And again, we talked about putting the ball on a guy. Rich Gannon put that ball on Jerry Rice perfectly. And look at Tim Brown's reaction. I got my 1,000. Jerry Rice got his touchdown.
That is such a great soundbite, because isn't that appropriate? Timmy's the star, right? Timmy gets 1,000. His mom comes out on a golf cart, and immediately following, Rice adds another touchdown to his Hall of Fame career. Very interesting, man. I didn't know it was that close in time. Oakland special teams at the Coliseum on this punt.
Especially this running game. Garner. And that is extracted from Morton, who didn't call for the fair catch. The Raiders gather around. Marcus Knight is the guy who hit him.
We talked about the Jets losing Santana Moss as a punt returner, as a third wide receiver. Chad Morton, the kickoff returner, goes back to do the punt returning. Well, look what happened.
Every Raider says we have it, and the line judge concurs.
Yeah, I remember that game, man. Being on the sideline for that one was special. No doubt about that. And the Jets were not happy about that mini ceremony, as Fabian says on our YouTube feed. You should get on YouTube, JT the Brick YT, as we're talking about these games during the break and getting good feedback from our audience here. How about Zach Crockett? What a great Raider he was, man. This guy was just a beast. You know, we're talking about Zamir White now and how big and strong he's getting. You remember Zach Crockett when he was around the goal line.
Again, Crockett the tailback. Richie was the fullback. Running again with Crockett into the end zone. So the first turnover of the game is a killer for the Jets.
Again, John Ritchie makes a heck of a lead, and you just go right in behind him. Here's John Ritchie. Here he comes right there. Boom, there's a block right there. He just gets right down below him. Crockett is a very powerful runner anyway, and the closer he gets to the goal line, the lower he gets.
That was pretty interesting here that the Raiders, it's one of the better Raider teams of all time. It is, because of Rice and Gannon, who's an MVP, and guys like John Ritchie and Crockett. If you look back at Tyrone Wheatley and all those weren't Hall of Famers. Rice and Brown were Hall of Famers, but the Raiders, Charlie Garner, had very good players on their team, and I bring that to this team again when I'm finished, as we finish out this game. This team has got future Hall of Famers, Max Crosby, future Hall of Famer, Devonte, future Hall of Famer, but how many more? And how many other players could come together and build the team and play games like this? Sebastian Janikowski, is he a Hall of Famer? I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer at the level of Vinatieri or some of the other kickers because of the big games and Super Bowls, but in his prime, he was as good as anyone in the league.
And now Janikowski will come in. They'll let the play clock tick down, and he'll try to make it a 6-point Raider lead from about the 20-yard line, which makes it a 30-yard attempt. Officially, this will be 29 yards out of a Leckler hold. Play clock all the way down. Snap it once, a low snap, and Leckler got it down nicely. And then Janikowski will make the Jets go all the way down the field without a timeout and 72 seconds remaining in the game.
The holder on that play, Shane Leckler, is going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame at some point. No doubt about that. And then the defense late in the game, the Tim Brown game in the Super Bowl year, the defense came to play to put this game away.
Pennington rolling out, pressure sacked at the 45-yard line by Roderick Coleman. And the clock keeps running, and they've got to spike the ball here to get another play off.
Listen to the crowd in Oakland there. As Rod Coleman gets that sack, good player, very good player, is still around a lot, comes to a lot of alumni events. And then the icing on the cake, again, when you hear Woodson interception, is it Charles Woodson? Is it Rod Woodson? The Woodsons were pretty important that year.
So the final play of the game, barring a defensive penalty. And Pennington is going to launch one toward the end zone, and it's picked off at the 9-yard line by Rod Woodson. Well, that's fitting.
Now, how many games in Madden? Monday night games with Rod Woodson. We featured Rod Woodson, 3 interceptions today on 2 Monday Night Football games, the Denver games and this one to ice the game against the Jets. So that's another honorable mention. December 2nd, 2002, Tim Brown's 1,000th reception game. I know there's some listeners who are young and remember that. So if you're at that game at the Coliseum, if you were watching on TV, we got an open line for you, 702-365-9200. You know, I keep, from hearing Al Michaels' voice on these play-by-plays and the short passes, it's very important. At least it is to me. That's what I'm getting out of it. Maybe you're not. And that's fine. But I think we have a bunch of quarterbacks now competing for the job, the two. And I think it's going to be very important for one of these two quarterbacks to win the battle of the short passing game. It's just my gut. It's going to have to be who can complete short first down passes the way Gannon did and then set up the defense for deep throws. I see Aiden O'Connell as, 5-step drop, 7-step drop, good protection, taking shots deeper downfield. If he can check down, he's good. I see Gardner Minshew as a player that when the pocket is breaking down, he's going to run. He's going to run and keep his head up and try to throw some short passes to Michael Mayer or Brock Bowers or Jacoby Myers or Trey Tucker coming back to the ball to do a toe tap. Very important this year that the quarterbacks play with the game plan that we saw. What we learned about this 2002 season was that Gannon was so good in the passing game that you wanted him to throw more. But the Raiders were a very solid running team in that AFC championship season. We haven't had one since. We haven't had an AFC championship game since 2002. I mean, let that sink in. It's 2024. Okay, 20 plus years, we should be playing in multiple games like this. We got to be playing the season ticket holders in the stands. The team's got to be playing in AFC championship games because the Chiefs are building a dynasty, which they are, and a legacy of being one of the greatest teams in the history of the AFC because of these AFC championship wins. In our recent lifetime, we've seen two dynasties, the Patriots and the Chiefs. And we have a really weird history with them both. A deep history with Kansas City for obvious reasons in our division. But the Tuck rule and Brady, everything that happened there. That's 6 Super Bowls. And what was it, 9 AFC championship games? Because they lost the Super Bowls to Eli, remember? And so they won 9, if I'm right, Bobby will check. The Patriots won 9 AFC championship games. And Kansas City, who's just started their dynasty with their 3 AFC championship games and the Super Bowls. That's adding up. It's adding up. It's a big number. We're chasing those teams now. And the Raiders were clearly better than the Patriots and Kansas City for much of their existence. 702-365-9200. Feels like a podcast today, Bobby. I could have recorded this at home when I got home from Dark Star last night and just knocked out 2 hours in golf today. Let's go. Am I going to hear from anybody today? Anybody want to talk about these games? Coming up next, I got one of the greatest games of all time. And stick around for this one because this next game, I wanted to put it in the top 10. I really believe it belongs in the top 10. And I'm giving it an honorable mention, but I'm questioning myself as we look at one of the most important Raider games of all time. So we gave you the Rod Woodson Monday night game, the Tim Brown, and now we're going to wrap up this week's portion of the show or these games with one of the most important games in Raider history. The AFC Division Playoffs versus the Patriots. December 18th, 1976, commonly known as the Sugar Bear Hamilton game. My gut tells me I should have put it in the top 10. My gut tells me I should have had it in at 10 or 9. But the honorable mentions are strong. And there's a lot of games I just couldn't move. And this was a divisional playoff game. But the ramifications, if the Raiders would have lost this next game that I'm about to preview, I don't know what would have happened to John Madden, Ken Stabler, and the history of the franchise. When would the first Super Bowl ever come? It should have came years before the win in 1977 in January. One of the biggest games in Raider history at home and one of the most important finishes in NFL history. We got it for you coming up next. As we're brought to you by the DeCastro Verde Law Group. If you get into an accident or injured, 702-222-9999. The brothers win, and the brothers have your back. Built on a legacy of their father, this established law firm has some of the best lawyers in town. They know your story. They know the insurance companies in town. They're brothers, and they have the power to work within their offices to get you the service that you need. Brothers win. The DeCastro Verde Law Group. So I can't wait to get to this next game. This is a game that I've been waiting for because if you look back at NFL films and you hear the voice who called this game, this is going to be memorable. We go back to 1976 when we come back. The Raiders' greatest games of all time. This is a big one. Want to know where you have it slotted when we continue on the flagship of the Silver and Black.
You can stay in touch with your favorite stations and shows no matter your location by simply downloading the free LV Sports Network app for both iPhone
Jorge
and
says
Android.
there's no
Go to
Greg
the App
Papa
Store
calls.
or Google Play and search
We have some
LV
calls.
Sports
We have
Network.
this one. We
Download
had
and you
the
are good
Madden
to go. Raider
Monday
Nation
Night Football
Radio,
TV calls
ESPN
on
Las
that,
Vegas, Fox Sports
we
Las
thought that was
Vegas,
pretty appropriate
12:30
to
The
play.
Game. It's all part of the LV Sports Network and can all be streamed live on the LV Sports Network app. Download it today.
This is JT for Grimaldi's, New York style coal-fired brick oven pizza that you crave. 4 locations here in the Valley, Summerlin, in Boca Park, on the Strip, at the Palazzo, Southwest Las Vegas on South
Fabian,
Rainbow
you have
Boulevard,
to tune in
and
for
Green
our
Valley
honorable
on
mention game.
Southeastern Avenue.
It's not about the injury.
If you've been in an accident due to someone else's negligence, remember, it's not about the injury, it's about the recovery. Hi, this is Paul Pata from Paul Pata Law. At Paul Pata Law, we handle all types of cases, whether you've been injured in a car accident, a motorcycle accident, or an accident on a commercial premises. You can find us on Facebook or at paulpatalaw.com. Remember, it's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Come to Finley Subaru of Las Vegas and get as low as 1.9% APR financing on select new 2024 Subaru Outback models. SubaruofLasVegas.com.
Hey Vegas, Clay Baker here with you with Zero Res. Because now that the heat is upon us, our lives, they depend on
we
the
did a lot of
comfort and
homework here,
sanctity
man.
of our homes.
Right here.
I'm just like you. We have to crank the air conditioning all day and night. You know, whatever it takes to make it livable. I'm telling you from experience,
Man,
if you
I'm
suffer
working
with
too hard
allergies,
today.
have your air ducts clean as well. Because there are bacteria, viruses, dust, and mites, all the other contaminants that trigger your respiratory and allergy issues. Zero Res knows this. Zero Res has the answer. It's the revolutionary new intensive air duct cleaning process. It's a breakthrough technology for duct cleaning. It helps immediately with your indoor allergies, while at the same time, it keeps your HVAC system running efficiently and extends the life of your system, saving you costly repairs.
Jack Michael
Call now and
says
ask
for
for
the
the Clay
season.
Baker special. Book today, save $100
finally
off
have
your
a
air
D.
duct cleaning. Call 702-840-3333. Go online,
Return to greatness. That's a Baden
zeroreslasvegas.com.
O'Connell
Minimums
play as
apply.
well.
When you are injured,
Yeah,
knowing
you
that
get a
someone
good
has your
Bobby
back
appearance from
changes
time to
everything.
time.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage
we got the
that we
AFC
proudly carry
championship.
on.
From our father to our family to the expert legal team at De Castroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the De Castroverde brothers.
And we have your back.
BrothersWin.com. The battle for Vegas is heating up. This Friday, the 12th, meet both Nick Hague of the Vegas Golden Knights and Alexander Madison from the Las Vegas Raiders at Topgolf. They'll be signing
Yeah, you got
autographs.
I didn't prep
From
30
7 to
today,
8
man.
p.m.
You want to talk
This
about
will be your
pressure?
last chance to get an autograph
The
from these guys
Wolves are
before
at
the
the
Battle
door.
for Vegas the next day.
Wolves
Bring an
are
item
at
that
the
you'd like
door.
autograph this Friday. Remember, the first 100 fans in line starting at 7 p.m. The Battle for Vegas. Topgolf on Koval Road. Are you ready to rock? Come celebrate Fremont Street Experience's free concert series, Downtown Rocks, Saturday, July 20th at 9 p.m. with 80s rock legend Sebastian Bach.
Sebastian Bach's playing.
Come turn the volume up one louder as Sebastian Bach plays his top hits in fabulous downtown Las Vegas, Saturday, July 20th at 9 p.m. For more information on the free concert series, visit VegasExperience.com. Where downtown rocks.
Attention plumbers, HVAC, DIYers, and construction pros. McFadden-Dale Industrial Hardware has everything you need for your next project. Open early at South Decatur and Russell. McFadden-Dale Industrial Hardware, your one-stop shop to get the job done.
What else do we
McFadden-Dale
have,
Industrial
Bobby,
Hardware.
from,
Get in, get out, and get to work.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Hold on a second.
What's up? Do you think Luke Getsy's going to utilize Devonte Adams good in the new Raiders offense?
I love Luke Getsy. He's a fantastic coach.
Awesome.
I love Devonte. Can't wait to play with him.
Awesome.
Again.
Great. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
How's your game today? How you hitting them?
Good. Harrison's playing really well.
Is he?
He's a little shy, but just trying to get him out of the shell.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going good.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
That was Aaron Rodgers from earlier. We played that earlier from Lake Tahoe on Devonte Adams. JT, back with you. Brought to you by The Black Hole. Go to theblackhole.com. They have membership discounts. They have memorabilia. I need everybody to get behind the black hole now. They're doing big, big things. They started in Oakland. As you know, my great brother, Rob Rivera, the guy who brought me into the black hole, who passed away unexpectedly a couple of years ago. This is his legacy. And Cisco, who's a proud partner of ours, and Mark Jones, who's running the black hole, and all the different groups around the country here would like you to become a member. Become a member by going to thebblackhole.com. So we're going through a couple of the greatest games in Raider history. I'll get back to that momentarily. I wanted to mention soccer for a second because Vegas is a huge soccer town. You might say, why? We don't have a soccer team here. Every bleeping kid in America comes to Vegas to play in a soccer tournament. Yeah. Hopefully not in 118 degrees, but I remember someone told me that years ago, the amount of club soccer teams that come to Vegas that you don't hear about, that are taking up hotel rooms and flying through the airports and spending money here are incredible. So I root for England. And people say, why do you root for England? Because the United States stinks. We stink in soccer. Our men, they just fired the coach again because there's so much pressure to win in soccer. So England never wins, but England plays in a much better league, the Premier League. That's their soccer league that they play in. And then when they take their best players and put them on the national team, I'm more familiar with their product in England than I am La Liga. That would be Spain and Real Madrid or Dortmund or the teams that play in Germany or all those. I'm really familiar with English soccer more, so I root for them. Harry Kane scored on a penalty kick yesterday in the semifinals of the Euros. He had to make this goal. They were down 1-0 at the time he came through.
Right in front of the England fans. Kane, Viva Bruggen. And Kane delivers again in Dortmund. 1-1.
Yeah, that was big. So why is it big? Because the whole entire country was watching. Not a city. Yeah. Like a Kansas City's in the Super Bowl. The whole country's watching, but they're not fans. The entire city in Kansas City's watching. Well, all of England, Great Britain were watching this game. And the English goal by Watkins to put it away was one of the best goals of the tournament.
Palmer. Ollie Watkins here. Oh, how about that? How about that? Ollie Watkins wins it for England. Surely.
That was a great goal there. So Fox on the big call. Now, on our side of the world, the Copa was very interesting. This was the tournament the United States was eliminated from. And the teams that went on, Uruguay and Colombia playing, and it got rough right after the game. So this is soccer. This is like a base brawl or something when baseball players go after each other. This is how it sounded at the end of the game on Fox.
I'll give you one guess who sparked this originally.
Oh, boy.
And now it's boiling over. Number 9.
So it started off there, and then the Uruguay players went into the stands, and the fight started to break out. And this was an ugly moment, real ugly moment yesterday in the Copa.
Uruguayan players going into the stands and interacting, if you will, with Colombian supporters. You obviously see things being thrown, including fists and punches and beverages and garbage. And unfortunate scenes in Charlotte, that after the final whistle.
So that was there. That's courtesy of Fox on the call there. 702-365-9200 as we get back to the greatest games of all time. Now we get to a game that I believe for the diehards who are listening here, I feel like I'm only connecting with the diehards on this. This is diehard type deep Raider stuff that we're trying to educate the youngsters and the new fans to. But hopefully some people remember this game. This was December 18th, 1976, the divisional playoffs. Oakland Raiders, New England Patriots. And this is one of the most important games in Raider history because if they didn't win this game, they don't go on to win their first Super Bowl. And the game came down to a really controversial call. So the Raiders faced off against the 11-3 New England Patriots in the AFC. Remember, this is a divisional round. That year, Stabler threw for 2,737 yards, 27 touchdowns, while completing 194 of his 291 pass attempts. He had a trio of receivers who was able to connect with throughout the year. Cliff Branch caught passes worth 1,111 yards and 12 touchdowns. Dave Casper had 691 yards and 10 touchdowns. And our great friend Fred Biletnikoff, 551 yards, while grabbing 7 touchdown passes that year. And it was an amazing year. It was a 58-degree Saturday afternoon. Ray Guy kicked off to New England. Jesse Phillips returned the ball to the New England 15 to set up the Patriots' opening drive. After moving the ball, and this was unbelievable, to the 24, the Patriots' drive stalled, and punter Mike Patrick punted to the Oakland 30. Neil Colsey returned it 24 yards to the New England 46. Unable to score on the opening drive, Guy, the kicker, who kicked off, punted the ball out of bounds to the New England 46. Unable to score on their opening drive, when Ray Guy made that punt and it went out of bounds there, the Patriots drove in a 10-play drive and scored the first touchdown of the game. Now, this is a touchdown in Oakland in an elimination game in the playoffs. Andy Johnson ran it in from the 1-yard line, making it 7-0 Patriots after the extra point. From people I talked to about that game who were there, including Raider Mort and others, the tension might have never been higher at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. The Raiders here were expected to win the Super Bowl, and they were down early. They were down early in this game. On the ensuing kickoff, the Raiders returned the ball to the Oakland 32 on the first play of the drive. Stabler to Bolitnikoff for 22 yards. Clarence Davis ran for 4 yards to set up Stabler to Branch for another 17 yards. But that drive stalled on the New England 23, and the Raiders had to settle for a field goal. So as I walk you through this game, and Steve Grogan threw a touchdown pass to Russ Francis for 26 yards and a score, making it 14-10 Patriots. The Raiders needed to find a way to get back into this game. The Silver and Black would now have to play close to a perfect game. They were down 11 points with only a little more than over a quarter to go. They would have to play a fourth quarter to advance to the next round of the playoffs. Stable to Bolitnikoff for 17 yards. The Raiders began the fourth quarter on the New England 45. The Raiders started their comeback. This was one of the greatest drives and important drives in Raiders history. 11 plays, 70-yard drive. Mark Van Egan scored the Raiders' second touchdown of the game on a 1-yard TD run. Stabler was perfect, 5 for 5 on that drive, 21-17. But the momentum was swinging to the Raiders at that point in the game. Another 3 and out. The Silver and Black start the next possession on their own 14, unable to capitalize on the opportunity. They had a punt. Patriots got the ball back at the Oakland 48. They're right there at midfield. A 50-yard field goal attempt by John Smith. He missed low, giving the Raiders new life with only 4:12 left in the game. 2 plays later, Stabler to Bolitnikoff for 7 yards. Branch for 8 on consecutive plays. Stabler connected with Bolitnikoff for 12 yards over the middle of the field, getting to the New England 43-yard line. 2 minutes left in the game. Raiders trailing in a must-win game. Stabler hooks up with Dave Casper for 21 yards. On the ensuing play, here it is. New England's Ray Sugar Bear Hamilton called for roughing the passer with 1:24 remaining in the game. After the Raiders had a loss of 8 on the play before, and it looked like the season would be over. Moving the ball on the Sugar Bear Hamilton late hit to the 13-yard line. On first down, Stable to Casper for 5 yards. 46 seconds left to go, and time is running out. The Raiders lined up for a run. Banasek was stopped. No gain. No gain for Pete Banasek at home. 14 seconds left in the game on the line. Stabler took the ball into his own hands, rolled left, dove into the end zone for the game-winning 1-yard touchdown. The Patriots got the ball back with 7 seconds, but Monty Johnson intercepted a pass attempt, and the Raiders go on to win. They would end up winning the next game, the AFC Championship game against Pittsburgh, en route to their first World Championship in the history of the franchise, when they ended up beating the Vikings, which will be a top 10 game in Raider history. This is the Sugar Bear Hamilton game. Raider diehards know this game. Every Raider fan must learn about it. It was a defining moment in Raider history. Steve Grogan, the quarterback here, remember Dr. Death, Skip Thomas with this first interception.
Skip Thomas. Out of bounds it goes. Skip Thomas Francis, who's a javelin thrower in college, just heaved that one down the field. They have 2:27 to go in a half, and they're trailing 7-3.
Kurt Gowdy on all these calls. If you know, you know. Kurt Gowdy on the call, the great Ken Stabler, the Snake, to his great friend Fred Biletnikoff.
Down open on the Patriot 31. Flag is down. There's the deep one to Biletnikoff. Biletnikoff, another flag down in the end zone. Let's go. He hung on to it for a touchdown. He hung on to it. The flag is dropped behind the line of scrimmage. What a grab by Biletnikoff. Unbelievable.
Kurt Gowdy saying another grab by Biletnikoff. Unbelievable. How great is that, taking you back in the memory book? Russ Francis was a hell of a player. The wars that he had with the great George Atkinson, the fights on the field, which would be physical fights, going for the ball. George Atkinson's hard hits. Francis with the touchdown.
Third down and 11 for the Patriots. On the open 26. There goes Francis. Francis is open. He's got it open. Brilliant young tight end. Russ Francis scores. No flag down on this one.
Yep, and that was a huge play there because they took the lead. Now, I want to stop for a second and tell you about, if you look back at NFL films of this game, the pressure for the fans. This was a legendary fan game because the fans were on their feet the entire game and the Raiders were trailing. They're supposed to go and win the Super Bowl. This is leading up to Super Bowl 11, where the Raiders lost Super Bowl 2 and a total of 5 championship games. When you think about what the Raiders have done coming this far, then getting back again, and then losing at home to New England, this could have been a deal breaker. What would have happened in the future of Madden if he didn't get over the hump and win in the following weeks at the Super Bowl? If Madden would have lost at home in a divisional game, what would Mr. Davis have done? He's very loyal to John Madden, very committed to him. Didn't want to make changes when the Raiders lost the Immaculate Deception. Of course not. They won that game. They were robbed. All the other games, the losses to Miami and Pittsburgh. And Mr. Davis stayed with John Madden because he knew he was the right coach for this team. Who doesn't love Mark Van Egan, one of the toughest Raider runners of all time?
Kenny had some pretty strong knees. He could take that inside head off and walk around the outside, I think. Van Egan, there you go. Van Egan scores. He lost the ball after he went over. All right, then he got Blake trying to take it away from him. A 70-yard drive puts the Raiders back in the game.
Yep, that was a big moment here. One of our viewers on YouTube, JT the Brick YT, Michael Daniel said, and don't forget the Pats handed our asses to us in the regular season game. You're right. Arguably, the Patriots were just as good, if not the better team. But this is a play that goes down in Raider history. I want everybody to focus on this call by Kurt Gowdy. This is the Sugar Bear Hamilton late hit. And remember, they don't have the replay that they have today. But a late hit to Stabler's face mask, which if he didn't hit him late and he got to him, game's over. Raiders are eliminated at home. They don't go to the Super Bowl. Where are the Raiders as a franchise at that point in 76 until this play happens?
With just under 1 minute to play. The South Favorite figures a deep drop to run on it again. And it is incomplete. They're going to hear about that one. Yard line of the picture. After the rest of the passer call.
The Raiders move on to win their first Super Bowl because of a roughing the passer call. Let that sink in. This is why we're bringing this up and putting this into an honorable mention. I had this thing around 9 or 10. I did. I did. I thought this was worthy, and it is. It's an honorable mention. That's what we're going to debate. But I love this game. This game, to me, is one of my most important games. You know, being around the Raiders, it's a Sugar Bear Hamilton game because think about this in a late hit. Back in the day, you could hit people late. Afterwards, it wasn't a penalty unless you hit them in the face mask, unless you hit a quarterback in the head. If Sugar Bear Hamilton just pulls up and doesn't go anywhere near the head, game's over. Raiders lose. They don't avenge their loss to the Steelers the following week. We're talking about the Steelers and the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, and maybe Super Bowl 11 would have went to the Patriots or the Steelers again. So that was huge. But, you know, Ken Stabler was someone I loved, considered a great friend late in his life. We were pretty tight at the end. And I look back at this highlight of Ken Stabler. I don't think there might be any bigger ones than this when he was Mr. Clutch. This is why he's the snake.
Down to 20 seconds. Down to the wire. Up they come. 1 yard to go. They can put them out in front. And here's a roll. Oh, yeah. Do you believe that? This crowd is not crazy again. They did it against Miami 2 years ago. There's a flag out. There's a flag out in the end zone. Sir, there's a penalty flag is down. The penalty flag is down in the end zone. And I tell you, I got a feeling this is going to be against Oakland because that referee is still there. New England. It is going to be. They score with 10 seconds to go. They've done it again.
I'll tell you, Dandy Don is pretty amazing. It sounded like he's going against the Raiders there. Really going against the Raiders there at the end. It did sound that way. He thought that penalty would be on the Raiders. And then our good friend Monty Johnson seals the game here as the Raiders are going to live another day. All right, that is a honorable mention game that we have. We gave you 3 today. So we did 3 games, deep dive into 3 great Raider games in the history of the Silver and Black. And that was the Sugar Bear Hamilton game, which was our final one today. And what that game meant, December 18th, 1976, as the Raiders win their home game in the divisional playoffs on the road to the Super Bowl, their first Super Bowl. Raiders 66. I have a feeling you were waiting for a game like that right in your wheelhouse. Go ahead.
Boy, you aren't kidding, JT. That brings back so many memories, and you're right. That was a very important game, and it could have been in the top 10, and probably should have been. And you know, the Raiders are a special team. They have had so many great games. This top 10 that you're trying to do is quite an accomplishment and very, very difficult. A lot of franchises, you could take the top 30 games for the Raiders, and it would be in their top 10. The Raiders have that many outstanding games. But this game against the Patriots, you're right. What happens if they lose that game? And the Patriots just seem to have their number. As somebody pointed out already, they are the only loss that the Raiders had that year. They were 13-1. The only loss was to New England in New England. But if you think about that season, the Raiders had a 5-game road trip. Think about that. That would never happen today. A 5-game road trip. That New England game was right smack dab in the middle, the third game of that trip, and they got trounced by the Patriots. So they were looking for payback. And the Patriots, to their credit, had them going. But a lot of people don't remember that 8-yard loss that the Raiders had on that play before the Sugar Bear Hamilton. I think it was that play. There was a questionable non-call on a pass interference against Cliff Branch. And the Raider fans were up in arms about that. And then a lot of people are thinking that was the makeup call that Sugar Bear Hamilton, because he did hit him in the face mask, but it's like the plays today where it was just barely grazing. You know, it could have been a non-call, but thankfully it was called and the Raiders moved on. But that was just an amazing, outstanding contest. And I think that if you think about it, you know, where would the Raiders have gone? Because they weren't really getting a lot of respect. They were 13-1. They had the best record in the conference. Stabler had the most passing touchdowns among quarterbacks. He had the highest completion percentage rate, and he was only second team All-Pro. So they're still not getting their due there. But I love this game. I love the call of it. It's too bad that it's an honorable mention because it could be top 10. But it's just fantastic. And you're right. It led to the first championship game ever, so it has to be mentioned.
Yes,
so
thank you. Thank you, my friend. And again, I appreciate you understanding how difficult this is for us. We are not doctors. We're not here to try to save lives. We're not police officers. We're just trying to put together an interactive radio show on the top great moments in Raider history in these games. We gave you 3 today. Bobby gave you the voices of Al Michaels, Kurt Gowdy, Don Meredith, John Madden, I mean, this is cool stuff, and it's going to be good for us to have down the road when we need it on certain days. We'll wrap it up. Q's coming up next. He's got a big show, as always, lined up for you. The summer begins with our countdown of the greatest 10 games in silver and black history.
It's the morning tailgate.
I didn't know anything about
Oh, that was tough today, man.
statistics and the
That
highlights
was tough
of
today.
Green
We
Bay.
do these
This is a
deep
really,
dives, man.
really.
Thanks,
like my
everybody.
face when I say multiple
I hope you
ways, but
enjoyed
he's
today.
a really impressive human being, football player.
Hope everyone's doing
extremely
well.
Intelligent.
Please hit subscribe and please share this if you can. If you could all do me a favor, those who are left, please try to go on your social media, your Twitter, your Facebook, and let everybody know we're doing this on YouTube because it's free. It's free content. And again, I haven't done this until now. We want to build it up. So greatly appreciate it. I'll check in tomorrow. We got a good show lined up tomorrow. Which game will we have tomorrow?
Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the